Hello, this is part 2 of chapter 6, using form tools and creating custom forms. In part 1, I was able to make it down to step 8E. I stopped at that point because I was having a little bit of a difficulty doing step 8F. I'm going to resume and start with step 8F. So if you haven't had an opportunity, watch part 1 first and then come back for part 2 where I'm starting with step 8F. I'm going to go ahead and open up the form that we were working with. The form is called FRM Suppliers with Products. Again, I'm starting on step 8F. It says add a calculated control that displays the number of products displayed in the subform. Set the calculated controls tab stop property to no and the control tip text property to calculated number of products. So what I need to do first is I need to add a calculated control to the subform in the form footer section. So what I'm going to do is go back to design view for this form. I'm going to go down to my subform, which I've already created, and I'm going to click on it to select it. So just click on it to select it. Then I'm going to go to the left edge and I get 4 arrows and I'm going to right click and go to Subform in New Window. Subform in New Window. At this point, I've got a form footer section. This is my subform that I'm working with. And I'm going to go to the text box control, which is the AB with a line. I'm going to click on that and then click in my form footer section. Okay, the section that says Unbound, I want to click on that and right click and go to Properties. And for the name, I'm going to highlight what it currently has in there and I'm going to replace it with TXT Product Name, all one word, the field name, Product Name Count. Okay, so I'm giving it a name. TXT product name count. I'm then going to go to the control source and I'm going to type in equals count open parenthesis square bracket, because the square bracket, all field names must be contained within square brackets. And so what I want is the count of the field called product name. Close my square bracket, close my parenthesis. Okay, so again, I'll go out here and show you it's equals count, open parenthesis, square bracket, product name, that's what I wanted to count, close my square bracket, close my parenthesis. At this point, I'm going to save what I've done. I'm going to close my subform, and I'm going to go out and look at it just in form view. Okay? Underneath latest contact is where I'm going to put the next control. So I go back to design view. I'm going to click on the same thing that I clicked on just earlier, and that's the text box control. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click right under my latest contact field, right there. First, I'm going to change the label control. So I'm going to click just on the label control. Mine says text 34. You might say text in a different number. And up here where it says caption, I'm going to highlight that in my properties sheet. And I'm going to look at my form, and it looks like they are the figure that they provide to me, and it's called number of products. Okay? And then I'll tab out of it. And then if you come over here and you right click right on the label, because we don't see the entire thing, it just says number and stops at the E. If you right click and go to size, you can pick to fit. And it fits it, but it also goes over a little bit over my unbound. So I'm going to click on this and use the top square to move just that control. If I don't use that square, it's going to move both of them together. I only want this one to move, so I use the top square. Now, in the unbound, I'm going to go to the control source. And I'm going to use the build button. That's these little dots. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click next to the plus sign next to my form. And then I can click on my subform. And here are all the entities on my subform. And if I scroll down, I'm going to see the one that I just created, that calculated control. I'm going to click on that and click OK. Now let's go out and look at it in Form View. When I go out to, whoops, apparently I didn't, okay, let's try that again because it still says unbound, so it didn't take it. I'm going to click the three dots, click the plus sign, click my subform, scroll down, and I'm going to double click. There, it took it. Click OK, and now it has what I need in there. So if I go to Form View now, I have a 1 in there because I only have one product name down in my subform. But if I go to my second record, make sure you use the bottom navigation bar. That one has 2 in it, and now my number of products increases to 2. And you can test each one. This one seems to have 4 in it, and sure enough, I have a 4 there. So I finally got that to work. So again, you had to go to it. You had to take the subform and go to a new window and do that, and then it finally worked. Step G gets a little bit easier now. It simply says add a line in the form header section. So up here in where we found all of these controls, we've used the text box, we've used the combo box, we've used the subform subreport. If I click the more button, I have a line control as well. So I click the line. Again, I'm not holding it down, I just clicked on it. I can now draw a line underneath my title in my form header section. Start to the left, draw it underneath. Again, don't worry about perfection, but you don't want to see the line when you're drawing it because that means you've got a straight line. Otherwise, if you're doing that, you have a crooked line. So I've got a straight line, let go, and I've got it all the way across. Okay, now the properties over here are just for the line. So if you want to do things like set it to 3 point, you can change the width by going to border width and changing it to 3 point. You can change the border color. I don't know if it says to. Let me read it again. No, that's good enough. So we're just leaving it at that. Okay? All right. The last thing it wants me to do is change the fill color of each of my sections. So if I go to the form header section and go to Format, I can change the fill color to a light gray. I'll pick a light gray. I'm not sure what they're having me pick, but at this point I don't care. So I'm going to pick the light gray, white background 1, darker 15%. Click on Detail, pick the same color. And then if I scroll down, I can do the same thing for my form footer, is pick that same color. Okay? All right. That's going to pretty much wrap up what I need to do. I'm going to save this and close it. That's all I needed to do in part 2 was to go over how to do that calculated control. So I appreciate your patience with me. This isn't a very long one, but I was panicking when I was doing part 1. I'm a perfectionist and it wasn't working, so I wanted to take a step back and record another video for you. So hopefully this will help. Thank you and have a great day.